Okay. Shall we start again? Yalla. We have inverse matrix. Kindly have a seat. Okay. We have inverse matrix here. You can see what's the inverse matrix. For example, if I have, let me use again. If we have inverse of matrix, we symbolize it like that. If I have A, of course, sometimes A inverse also exists. So what do you mean by A inverse? You know, if I have 2, I know I have an inverse that if I multiply, I will get 1. So what's the inverse of number 2 as a number? 1/2. Am I right? So we have two things. First, what we have here, which operation. The second, what I want to get. One is called identity, right? Why is identity? Because if you multiply 2 by 1, you'll get 2. Am I right? So it's called identity. Now, how about the matrix? If I have a matrix and multiplication, of course, I should multiply by something which we say I, capital, then I will get identity. That thing should be A inverse. Understood? So what do you mean by A inverse? What's A? How we find I? How we find A inverse? That's the method that I'm going to cover it. Maybe today, maybe next week. So I generally is the matrix which are square. What do you mean by square matrix? What do you mean by square matrix? No. When I say square, yes, like that. Exactly. The shape is like that, of course. But we say square, for example, 2 by 2 or 1 by 1. 1 by 1 matrix is only 1. When I say I2 means that I have a matrix I 2 by 2. How's the element inside of the matrix? The main diagonal are 1 and the rest are 0. Then of course it should be n by n. 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4. That's called square matrix. Understood? So 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3 is called square matrix. Now, if I say I equal to 3 or I3, what's in your mind? Can you tell me? Exactly 3 by 3, but how about the elements? They are like what? Main diagonal 1, and the rest are zeros. Okay, dear? So this is called identity matrix. Actually, we need I2 and I3. So I mean 2 by 2 and 3 by 3, no more. Clear? Good. Why we need them in identity? Because sometimes, for example, I say A equal to 1205 or 1 and B equal to 15 minus 12. So I'm asking you, A is the inverse or B is the inverse of A or not? So how you answer that one? You should multiply them, then the result should be I. In case if you get something like that, means that A and B are inverse to each other. Understood? Otherwise, if I got, for example, something like that, AB equal to 1, 1, 0, minus 1, I say A and B are not inverse. Or B is not inverse for A. Clear, dears, these two concepts? We need I, we need inverse. So I am going to use I to show these two matrices are inverse of each other or not. So how? By multiplying to each, then the result should be I. Otherwise, they are not inverse. Let me show you an example. That's a theoretically things. It's not nice, I know. Here's I1 and I. You can see I2, I3, I4. And you know everything multiplied by identity, it will be itself. Look at here. You don't need to multiply. For example, during the exam, if I say A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, minus 1, 2, 5. Multiply this one by I4. You don't need to waste your time like a previous one. Multiply that one by 1, by 2. You don't need to multiply. Just say is equal to A. Means that just we have 1, 1, 1. The rest are 0. The rest are 0. Understood? So you don't need to multiply each by 1. 100% you will get A. How about I4? Multiply by A, 100% again I will get A. Why? Like a number. If I say 1 by 2, I will get 2. If I say 2 by 1, of course I will get 1. So 1 here is like identity, 2 is like a matrix. Understood here? Clear, good. So this is two concepts about today. Now, look at here. We say what in the previous section? We say you cannot say A multiply B is equal to B multiply A, right? But here we say that. Why? I told you we have only in one case they are equal. So AB generally are not equal to BA. But if A and B, they are inverse, yes, we have that. Only case. Understood? So generally they are not equal, but if they are the inverse, yes, they are equal. That's all. So during the exam, one of the type of the question is say what? Is say show me A and B are inverse or not. So how we do it? Yalla. How we solve that one? Yeah, so how? Show me A and B are inverse, or show me B is the inverse of A. How? Look at here. 2, 1, 5, 3. So I say A equal to 2, 1, 5, 3. I am going to multiply it by 3 minus 1 and 2. So to show that A and B are inverse, I just going to multiply them. I told you before. You don't need to hesitate. Just multiply them. Understood? So multiply them, you'll get what? Yalla. 6 minus 5. Am I right? Okay. Then minus 2 plus 2. Then 15 minus 15. Am I right? Hello? Yes. 5, 3, 5 minus 3. Then minus 5 plus 6. So I get what? Am I right? So we got what? No, identity. So I mean, as you say, yes, you are right. So A and B are inverse. A is inverse of B, and also B is inverse of A. Look at here to understand more. This is AB. We got identity. This is BA. Again, we should get identity because they are inverse. Clear for today, dears? Good. Kindly try at home to solve that one, because you have many things to do it with me. So kindly at home try to solve this one, because during the exam you will see some example like that. Clear? One more thing. How to find A inverse? That's the question. How we find them? That's the question, right? So we have two methods. 2 by 2 is easy, but 3 by 3 need works. It's not hard, but need works. Understood? So next lecture, we try to find or to get the idea about one of them or both of them. Because you have